Join me as we dive into the most anticipated romance book releases coming your way this May. Lucy is the tourist vacationing at a beach house on Prince Edward Island. Felix is the local who shows her a very good time. The only problem, Lucy doesn't know he's her best friend's younger brother. Lucy and Felix's chemistry is unreal, but the list of reasons why they need to stay away from each other is long, and they vow to never repeat that electric night again. It's easier said than done. Each year, Lucy escapes to PEI for a big breath of coastal air, fresh oysters, and crisp vinho verde with her best friend, Bridget. Every visit begins with a long walk on the beach, beneath soaring red cliffs and a golden sun. And every visit, Lucy promises herself she won't wind up in Felix's bed. Again. If Lucy can't help being drawn to Felix, at least she's always kept her heart out of it. When Bridget suddenly flees Toronto a week before her wedding, Lucy drops everything to follow her to the island. Her mission is to help Bridget through her crisis and resist the one man she's never been able to. But Felix's sparkling eyes and flirty quips have been replaced with something new, and Lucy's beginning to wonder just how safe her heart truly is. The 1960 baseball season is shaping up to be the worst year of Eddie O'Leary's life. He can't manage to hit the ball, his new teammates hate him, he's living out of a suitcase, and he's homesick. When the team's owner orders him to give a bunch of interviews to some snobby reporter, he's ready to call it quits. He can barely manage to behave himself for the length of a game, let alone an entire season. But he's already on thin ice, so he has no choice but to agree. Mark Bailey is not a sports reporter. He writes for the arts page, and these days he's barely even managing to do that much. He's had a rough year and just wants to be left alone in his too-empty apartment, mourning a partner he'd never been able to be public about. The last thing he needs is to spend a season writing about New York's obnoxious new shortstop in a stunt to get the struggling newspaper more readers. Isolated together within the crush of an anonymous city, these two lonely souls orbit each other as they slowly give in to the inevitable gravity of their attraction. But Mark has vowed that he'll never be someone's secret ever again, and Eddie can't be out as a professional athlete. It's just them against the world, and they'll both have to decide if that's enough. Mark Chan this. Mark Chan that. Writer and barista Emily Hung is tired of hearing about the great Mark Chan, the son of her parents' friends. You'd think he single-handedly stopped climate change and ended child poverty from the way her mother raves about him. But in reality, he's just a boring, sweater vest-wearing engineer, and when they're forced together at Emily's sister's wedding, it's obvious he thinks he's too good for her. But now that Emily is her family's last single daughter, her mother is fixated on getting her married, and she has her sights on Mark. There's only one solution, clearly. Convince Mark to be in a fake relationship with her long enough to put an end to her mom's meddling. He reluctantly agrees. Unfortunately, lying isn't enough. Family friends keep popping up at their supposed dates, including a bubble tea shop and cake decorating class, so they'll have to spend more time together to make their relationship look real. With each fake date, though, Emily realizes that Mark's not quite what she assumed, and maybe that Argyle sweater isn't so ugly after all. Anna Green and Liam West Weston entered a marriage of convenience during their college years, believing it was a solution to their housing needs. However, after graduation, they parted ways, each assuming they had finalized their divorce. Fast forward 3 years, Anna struggles as an artist, while West, a Stanford professor, is uninterested in his family's wealth, but desires his inheritance, contingent on a 5-year marriage clause. When pressure from his family mounts to reveal his spouse, West reluctantly turns to Anna, his unconventional ex-wife, to play the part, fearing the consequences of exposing her to his affluent family. As West navigates the complexities of maintaining appearances in his privileged world, he realizes that his concerns extend beyond Anna's ability to fit in. He grapples with the fear of losing her genuine connection and wonders if preserving his inheritance is worth sacrificing their love, which grew from a lie. Diana Dixon has a lot going on this summer. She's rehearsing for a ballroom dance competition, juggling 2 jobs, and dealing with an ex-boyfriend who can't take the hint it's over. Yet despite all that, she still has plenty of time and energy to tell Shane Lindley to screw off. Shane just moved into her apartment building and seems dedicated to sleeping his way through her entire cheerleading squad. Sure, he's a tall, gorgeous hockey player, but he's messing with her turf. This calls for some ground rules. No parties in her apartment, leave her teammates alone, and, most importantly, leave her alone. What Diana doesn't realize is that Shane's sick of hookups and tired of being on the rebound after his long-term girlfriend called it quits. He wants a relationship, and when his ex comes back into the picture, he pretends he has one to make her jealous. And who better to play the girlfriend role than his sassy new neighbor? Despite Diana's reluctance to break her rule, a fake relationship is the perfect solution for her own ex issues, and soon she can't deny something is sizzling between her and Shane. Something hot and completely unexpected. And it might just be getting a little too real. Emily Allen, a librarian on Martha's Vineyard, has always dreamed of a life of travel and adventure. So when her favorite author, Siobhan Riordan, offers her a job in the Emerald Isle, Emily jumps at the opportunity. After all, Siobhan's novels got Em through some of the darkest days of her existence. Helping Siobhan write the final book in her acclaimed series, after a 10-year hiatus due to a scorching case of writer's block, is a dream come true for Emily. If only she didn't have to deal with Siobhan's son, Kieran Murphy. He manages Siobhan's bookstore, and the grouchy bookworm clearly doesn't want Em around. When Siobhan's health takes a bad turn, she's more determined than ever to finish her novel, while Kieran tries every trick in the book to get his mother to rest. Thrown into the role of peacemaker, Emily begins to see that Kieran's heart is in the right place. Torn between helping Siobhan find closure with her series and her own growing feelings for the Mercurial Irishman, Emily will have to decide if she's truly ready to turn a new page and figure out what lies in the next chapter. As a bloodline vampire, Lizzie has never had a problem taking what she wants, and right now what she wants are the family heirlooms that were stolen from her and a portal home. Too bad even that short list is impossible to accomplish on her own, and her allies have bigger things to worry about. When they rescue a Selkie from captivity, it's the perfect solution to her problem. Lizzie needs a guide through Threshold, and the Selkie needs someone to help her get her skin back. Maeve didn't choose to give up her skin, it was stolen from her. Now she's in an uneasy partnership with a dangerous woman who seems more apt to kill than to share a kind word. It's terrifying, and a bit alluring. Even though she knows it will end in heartbreak, Maeve can't help being drawn to Lizzie and her all-too-pleasurable vampire bite. Unfortunately, the danger to Maeve's heart is the least of her worries. The ship Lizzie's chasing belongs to the Cuan Annan, and they don't take kindly to people who steal from them. Not even Lizzie's viciousness or Maeve's Selkie strength will be enough to save them if the Cuan Anwan seek retribution. The scowl should have been my first clue to stay far away from Anson Hunt. The sexy smirk and the fact that he's my brother's best friend? Reasons 2 and 3. Not to mention, he's the new contractor working on my house. He's everything I'm not. Grumpy, rude, and more than a little attached to his solitude. It doesn't matter how many times I try to kill him with kindness. The man simply won't crack, until he sees me shatter. Because when my world comes crashing down around me, Anson is the one catching me as I fall. And as so-called accidents start plaguing every part of my life, it's Anson who steps in to keep me safe. As he does, I can't help but feel a flicker of heat, and it only takes a single moment for that spark to ignite into flames, engulfing us both. But Anson's a man with secrets, and they have a price. When they're revealed, neither of us will make it out unscathed. Sage Bird has lived in the coastal town of Spoons, Oregon, not to be confused with Forks, Washington, her entire life. She's learned to love her small world, with the misfit animals on her hobby farm, and her friendships with the town's inhabitants. But when her 5-year relationship ends, and her ex, town golden boy Ian, suddenly gets engaged, Sage needs a win, something that will convince everyone to stop pitying her all the time and to put Ian in his place. The Festival of Spoons, the town's annual summer competition, would be the perfect opportunity. She just needs a partner. Fisher Lang was a hotshot chef in New York City until the loss of his sister left him numb, grieving, and responsible for his teenage niece Indy. When Fisher loses his Michelin star along with his love of cooking, his boss sends him and Indy to Spoons on a much-needed summer sabbatical to consult on a restaurant opening. But when clashes with the townspeople threaten his last chance to redeem himself, and a kiss with his new neighbor Sage leads to dating rumors, a strategic alliance might just be the best way to turn things around. A deal is struck. Sage will improve Fisher's image in the eyes of the town and remove the roadblocks he is facing with the restaurant, and Fisher will be Sage's partner for the competition. But as their pact quickly turns into steamy rendezvous, emotional wounds begin to heal, and the pair tries to savor every moment. They start to realize that summer is racing by much faster than they would like. 2 years ago, 30-year-old receptionist Millie Chandler had her heart spectacularly broken in public. Ever since, she has been a closed book, vowing to keep everything to herself, her feelings, her truths, even her dreams, in an effort to protect herself from getting hurt again. But Millie does write emails, sarcastic replies to her rude boss, hard truths to her friends, and of course, that 1,000-word love declaration to her ex, who is now engaged to someone else. The emails live safely in her drafts, but after a server outage at work, Millie wakes up to discover that all her emails have been sent. Every single one. As every truth, lie, and secret she's worked so hard to keep only to herself are catapulted out into the open, Millie must fix the chaos her words have caused and face everything she's ever swept under the carpet. When Willow Moore's lifelong dream of music stardom goes bust, she's burned out enough to need drastic change. As in, she's trading her Brooklyn apartment for 2 months in the Connecticut countryside. Soon she's baking bread, spending Saturdays at the farmer's market, and stopping to smell the roses. But some things in her new #cottagecore life aren't so pleasant. Like her landlord, former chef Reed Harrell. As grouchy and reserved as Willow is chatty and outgoing, Reed is an annoyingly sexy keep-out sign. Something about Reed, a sliver of pain poking through that flinty facade, makes her wonder whether they're more alike than she thought. Liv and Finn meet 6 summers ago working in a bar on the rugged Cornish coastline, their futures full of promise. When a night of passion ends in devastating tragedy, they are bound together inextricably. But Finn's life is in LA with his band, and Liv's is in Cornwall with her family, so they make a promise. Finn will return every year, and if they are single, they will spend the summer together. This summer, Liv crosses paths with Tom, a mysterious new arrival in her hometown. As the wildflowers and heather come into bloom, they find themselves falling for one another. For the first time, Liv can imagine a world where her heart isn't broken every autumn. Now, Liv must make an impossible choice. And when she discovers the shocking reason that Tom has left home, she'll need to trust her heart even more.